Hey, this is Dean from Autotech Collision Service. We are here with another post-repair inspection. This vehicle was repaired at a USAA referral shop. Customer went back a couple times. He wasn't happy. Eventually, he just kind of gave up, went to another shop who ended up referring him back to us. Basically, here's what we found. When they put the car together, they jammed the fenders into the doors, so these are all touched up along the edge. It's all got a real rough edge. Same thing up here. It's a rough edge up there. They did not remove this panel down here, which would have been much easier to paint it. Instead, they mask it out, but they masked right onto the fender itself, so you can see a real hard line there. There's a decent amount of dirt in the paint, which they did take the time to buff out. Unfortunately, the dirt specks left behind like a black dot. So the customer, that's originally what he noticed when he first started looking at it. Plus, he noticed the edges were all beat up. But there's bigger issues going on underneath the hood here. Essentially, my personal opinion is sometimes these direct repair shops or referral shops don't get paid properly to fix the car because there's so many constraints on them. So they have to make up for it in other ways. So essentially, they bill the customer to put into full support, which is probably the right way that they should have done this job. But instead, they put in pieces of it, and and by doing that, they're cutting some corners. Also, they bill the customer to set the car up on a bench and measure it and pull the frame. We found no signs of clamp marks and no signs of repair of a clamp mark in there as well. Other than that, there's really just a lot of little details of just things that they just really kind of made a mess of. But this is painted the wrong color underneath here. It should be the color that's back on the shock tower. It's like a semi-gloss, like a light gray. This is all just like a glossy silver. The support, when they welded it in, there's no paint back here. It's all bare metal. There's bare metal underneath here. For a couple bucks of rust proofing, they could have blew some into this hole, but when they did the welds here, that's all just starting to rust. It's just bare metal. They put in a used air conditioning condenser, which who knows where that came from. They still left the writing on the side of it. There is a aftermarket radiator in there. Again, the manufacturer doesn't stand behind any of that stuff, but USA is doing an attempt to save money. Not only did they spray all this is gloss and the wrong color as well. Again, a lot of little details. When they were doing the repair, they never really protected the engine compartment too well because the grinding that they did sprayed bare metal everywhere. There's all rust down on the side over there. There's rust inside of all the frame rails. There's rust jammed in these jams here. There's rust, bare metal melted into this plastic, and that's all starting to rust, and it's all over inside of here. Just really a sign of just poor quality and no pride in their work. They must have chipped the corner of the fender, putting that back, putting the hood on, so that's touched up. This is all beat up along the edge here. This is a new fender. They never sprayed the inside of the fender. They also jammed it back into the door here, so that's all touched up. They put on a new side molding down here that comes in color, but instead they decided to paint it, but they did such a horrible job of taping it out. There's tape lines all onto the part, which is probably going to peel eventually. I'm thinking they either damaged this putting it together or had such a bad mismatch that they ended up doing what they call an open clear blend instead of painting over and back like they should have. So you could clearly see they didn't even melt it in that good. Not only that, there's still damage on the inside down here. And when they masked out, instead of pulling the glass like they should have, they taped out along the edge, but they didn't even tape along the molding. They taped onto the body of the car so you can see a definite hard line along there. Overall, just pretty poor quality. USAA paid this shop about $7,000 to fix the car. After going over it, the other thing the shop missed was they never checked the customer steering column, which is a requirement by Subaru on a front-end collision, and this was hit pretty hard in the front. So there's definitely some safety things that were overlooked. I'm assuming in an effort to keep costs down for the insurance company, because that's usually what this is all about. When we brought the vehicle in, we went over everything, put all the documentation together, went over it with the USA appraiser, showed them all the defects that were there. We did a re-repair estimate of about almost $18,000 or $19,000. USA decided to total the vehicle out. So the bottom line here, and I keep preaching this over and over again, not all shops are created equal. My personal feeling is when an insurance company refers you to a shop, they're doing it for one reason, because it benefits the insurance company. They get discounts for volume. These shops are under a lot of pressure to get it done quickly to keep rental costs down. And overall, I don't think it's a good thing for consumers. I think you have to do your research. You have to look for a facility that's certified by your manufacturer, somebody that's looking out for your best interests, somebody's going to follow all the OEM repair guidelines and give you a safe and proper repair. This is Dean at Autotech. Check us out at autotechcollision.com.